Yeah. We are here.
I know.
I mean, where else would we be?
It's true.
I have nowhere else to be. I mean, outside of work or sleeping.
Those are the only two places I go to.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. This is a nice little outlet for us. If you are watching along with us live, feel free to leave a comment. We are streaming through Facebook. We are streaming through YouTube. We are streaming through Twitch right now. If you are watching on demand, you can still leave a comment. That's all right. Or follow and comment at Wrestling Audio on the socials. I don't do that enough. I don't push that enough on these live streams, I've noticed.
No, you don't. It's not like you have a whole bar with all the socials and everything written on it.
Yeah, but if you're listening to the show,
that's true.
Then you can't really see this.
The low blow has been visual for like a month, and we've already forgotten everything we knew in 15 years of doing audio.
What do we do?
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but it's all right. We're learning. This is a new step in our lives.
Yeah,
in our careers, in our hearts.
In our hearts. Like, I have to make sure I pay attention to what's around me in my room.
Oh, let me tell you, Devon is so worried about what's in his background. Every week, he and his wife analyze everything that maybe he should be slightly off to the side more. Oh, it's fine. The content's what matters more than the background.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I did slide over a little bit so you can see my wrestling figures a little bit better this week.
Good. It distracts from the boring of
everywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking you.
Oh, my face. Yeah.
Yeah, but So we think about all these things. We worry about all of these things. But I got to try to get better about getting the socials out there, especially as we continue to grow and really try to take over the world. Nah, it's like too much work. But one guy he's been so great behind the scenes. I want to give him a little bit of love. Greg, the sound guy, our webmaster, has done an incredible amount of work off air behind the scenes. The one thing he is fearing, though, is having to finally be on camera and host a show.
Is that like a trade-off where he's like, I'll do all this work, but I don't want to be on camera at all?
I think he would. I think with no hesitation, he would accept that deal if he could. But I told him this is where we're going. This is where everybody's going right now. So we kind of got to go with the times, got to be on video, got to be live streaming, interacting with people live. And he's got to get on camera. And he said by the end of the month, he'll have himself a webcam, and he's going to have a Thursday night free.
Ooh.
So we may do a triple threat. We haven't done a triple threat.
No, we haven't done a triple threat in general in a while. Definitely.
And he broadcasts from his basement, so I assume it's going to be creepy AF, man.
I just want him to come up from below the camera.
Yeah, I'll just be happy if he sets up the camera properly. I do love the idea of the creeper rise.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we're
gonna get the sound guy, not the visual guy. So
exactly. He's worried about the lighting. I'm like, you should be, because I don't want you looking all dark and creepy.
It's true.
I want you well lit and creepy. Thank you.
He has how old are his kids?
I think one might be junior high or starting high school. Even.
I mean, they know how to do social. If they're
also at that age, they probably don't really like to acknowledge him.
Well, then my kids knew how to do selfies and crap at
but did they want to hang out with you and help you out with that?
No, they didn't want to hang out with me. But if
they did, they only did
because them, and they could give me knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's Greg the sound guy. He's not Greg the great dad. I mean, so it just that's rude to say. He's okay, I'm sure. So we got 6 things. I got 6 things list I'm going to give. You got a high-low list.
I do.
But I want to follow up from last week.
Uh-oh.
Because I put the action figure challenge in front of you.
Ooh. Oh, man, this is pressure. All right.
So, and last week, you nailed it very quickly.
I know.
Kind of awkwardly. You got it very quickly.
This is a lot of pressure, though.
So I said I got to come back and find one that I'm certain you are not going to be able to recognize like that.
All
Action
right.
figure crotch.
Pro wrestler. Oh, I told you were just gonna go black tights.
Yeah, of course I did.
Okay. Guess the groin.
Balls and guess the groin.
Let's see, black wristbands.
I will tell you, it is a dude.
Yes, I got that.
Even though the package is a little flat there.
It's a Mattel Basic.
It is a Mattel Basic. See, look at this analysis of action figure groin. This is the best analysis of action figure groin you're going to get on a Thursday night.
It really is. Okay, Mattel means it's
obviously, you know it's not Lance Storm because otherwise the bulge would be so much bigger.
Is it Finn Balor?
It is not Finn Balor.
All right.
This is no Neville from last week. We're like, oh my god, that's Pac's package.
Well, there was a logo on it. Like, I know the logo.
Right, and you know Pac's penis.
Oh man.
Hard hitting action figure groin. I wish. Is anybody good at jingles? I would like to do a jingle for Guess the Groin.
With some sort of like impromptu theme music, like counting down that we don't have to pay for.
Balls. Guess the groin.
Oh man. It looks like a newer box, so within the last year or so, I would guess just by what I can see. Because it's not red or some of the other accent colors of the other years.
Guess the groin.
I did and got it wrong.
I'm just kind of like working out the jingle. I'm sorry.
You work on the jingle.
I'm not trying to distract you. I'm just trying to.
I almost said I'll work on the groin. I'm like, that's gonna sound awful.
You work on the groin. Your name is Ballz.
That's true. Man, damn. Not
groin.
Almost where it's just basic black trunks. Is it an old Triple H figure?
I'll tell you, it's not a newer one.
It's not a newer one.
It's an old. It's an old package.
Is it Cody Rhodes?
It's not Cody Rhodes.
Because that was a joke I made last week that you would use basic black trunks, and you did. Did Ted DiBiase even have a Mattel figure?
Junior or senior?
Or junior. Yeah, junior.
I believe so, but no.
No. Because then I'd go, really? You own a Ted DiBiase Jr. figure?
I think I once considered maybe the 2-pack. I think him and Dad came in a 2-pack.
That's actually a thing, yeah. Heath Slater. Damn it.
In honor of his appearance this week.
It is totally old Mattel. Long hair, 10-year-old Heath Slater.
And it made sense because any longtime listener of the Low Blow podcast know that I used to start off every show with "If Faced With."
Yes, and I was always Heath Slater.
You were always Heath Slater, which back then wasn't always a good thing. Now, if I called you Heath Slater, you should be complimented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Heath Slater crotch for you.
Man.
You are not very good at recognizing the Ginger Ninjas. Ninja. Or would it be the Ginger Ninjas nunchuck? All right.
Man. All right.
A fail and guess the groin. But I told you I was going to find one that you weren't going to get.
You did. I'm 50-50 now.
All right. So do we do the tiebreaker next week?
We can keep going with it as a segment. I think it's hilarious.
We could keep looking at action figure crotches every week.
Every week. Just all the time.
Yeah. Why even stop? We'll just put it in the corner. It's much like we put your head, we'll just put action figure crotch in the corner.
Rotating window of plastic crotch.
Let's see. Let's see. Can I do this? Hold on. I'm doing something live on the spot. See, kind of small. It's a small package. That's the Ballz Guess the Groin. Yeah. I tried. I got live on the spot.
It's totally unreadable, but it's there.
Totally unreadable. Yeah, well, totally unrecognizable. What a failure of a collector you are.
Ooh. Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. That is over the line, sir.
Sir? Whoa.
I object.
I am many things, a failure at a lot. But collector, sir? I think not.
Don't you dare belittle me. All right, 6 things. Then we move on to your high-low list. If you have thoughts, you have reactions, you have arguments, let us know in a comment. 6th thing, number 1, FT-dub, FT-dub. FT-dub for the win. Big thing on AEW this week on the Fyter Fest Night 2 is that Taz dusted off his old F the World belt, his championship from ECW, and gave it to Brian Cage. First and foremost, I ask thoughts on Brian Cage being his own champion.
I think it's interesting. It definitely adds a little something. I like the idea, the storyline idea of Taz saying he needed momentum going into the contest with Moxley, so that he basically made up momentum,
right?
That was as a good manager would. So I like that aspect of it. I think it's interesting.
You keep saying interesting, but interesting doesn't always have the best of connotations behind it.
No, it doesn't. And I don't like, because what you asked me was it him being his own champion. You didn't mention what I thought about him being the FTW or them bringing that back.
Okay, well, I thought you would naturally progress into that. So
2 different questions.
Since when have you not just taken and run with it?
Man, this is your 6 things. I don't want to impeach different stuff.
Since when?
It's true. No, I love that Tony Khan said the announcement would send shockwaves through the wrestling industry. Shockwaves are a lot like interesting. There's a lot of different connotations to it. It did send shockwaves. I don't know if they were positive or not, but it got buzz.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize it was the original FTW belt until I saw a report after, and I spoke with you.
Mm-hmm.
That you said, yeah, you thought it was the original, and it was.
With the old school ECW font.
Yeah.
Back then it was real cool. Now you're like, ew, it's almost like Comic Sans. You're like,
yes. Taz owns that belt and the likeness and all that stuff to it. ECW didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Taz can use it for whatever he wants, which is kind of cool. I don't.
Have you read anything as to how this came to be? Was this something that they suggested to Taz, that Taz brought this up? Like, that's what I'm curious about.
No, I haven't seen that.
Suggested the idea.
I would almost assume it was a Taz idea, just the way it was presented. That you know what, the idea represents the baddest SOB in wrestling. Let's do this and kind of do what he wants with it. What happens to it after this? Who knows?
Do you think Brian Cage is a good representative for it?
I think so. As of right now, I mean, I don't know who else in the company. Maybe Lance Archer, as just a bad dude.
But he's already got representation. So.
Exactly. So I do think, number one, we've talked about it a couple times about me wondering why Brian Cage needs a manager in general. Mm-hmm. Taz being the manager has kind of grown on me as far as Cage goes.
Right.
I do think, and I like this as a managerial stunt to get momentum, to get publicity. It gets your dude out there, just noticed. So yeah, I like that aspect of it.
Which also, I kind of think means that he's not winning that big title from Moxley.
No. Yeah.
I think that, unfortunately, is a bit of foreshadowing there. If you're a Cage fan and you were hoping maybe for a title change here, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think you give him this FTW championship to give him a spotlight, give him some prestige without giving him that world championship. You don't bring him in all hot like that, where he wins the Battle Royal and all this, it's gained momentum since. To have him lose to the champion, then back to square one. I mean, you find some way to keep that going, and this, I think, is good. I just hope it lives up to it the first time, from the first time around.
No, I agree. It needs to.
Yeah. What's going on, Wesley? How you doing, sir? Think about this, as I've had so much fun reading people's comments about this, because as you know, you have to pick a side. You cannot like both AEW and WWE/NXT. You're not allowed.
Apparently, no.
It's not allowed. You cannot be fans of both. Sacrilegious, blasphemous. Yeah. I don't know. You can't do it.
You can't. Just not allowed.
So reading these talkback threads, these comment threads on social or on the dirt sheets themselves, to see the back and forth sniping every week is entertaining to me. But this belt and the amount of anger that it seems to have risen that AEW would copy off of WWE so blatantly that WWE was the first to have a guy with his own belt in the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
I mean,
yeah,
but
people like, I know my history. WWE did it first. If you know your history, then you know this is actually Taz's belt.
Yeah, if you know your history.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I wasn't around. I didn't watch back then. I was too young to watch ECW, so I don't know much about it, but I think AEW is stretching. Like, if you know nothing about it, look into it before you decide. Like, don't rule it out yet.
AEW is stretching.
Yeah.
They could have just made up like a badass title and handed it to him. Like, that would have been stupid. That would have been the 24/7 championship.
And if Brian does fail, if Cage doesn't live up to expectations, Taz can just strip it off.
Yeah.
Like, no, strike this from the record. He never had to,
Yeah. I mean, that's just a whole new thing where Taz drops him as a manager and just takes the title and walks away. You're like, you're not badass.
I don't know. I think it's so funny that so many people had no idea that this was an existing thing, and people getting mad at AEW. For creating this. If anything, be mad that there's now so many titles in that company. There's a lot of titles in that company for a company that already is struggling to get everybody the proper amount of time.
Well, that is a thing. Yeah. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you have so much great wrestling. You also don't want to rip that off. In spite of getting more talent on TV, but you don't get talent on TV, they're not going to be happy to work for this.
Yeah.
Tough. Stuff.
For sure.
Good for them. Now, with that said, 6 things number 2, FFT dub. If this was going to be a low light, it'd be a low light to me. If this was
okay.
So F the world.
Okay.
And I know I don't have to censor myself, but I'm choosing to.
Yeah. We're a family show. Kind of, maybe.
Manson family, yeah, maybe. But so for the longest time, true story here, for the longest time until 6-7 years ago, I had no idea that FTW meant for the win. Because of ECW, because of Taz's belt, anytime for the majority of my life, I saw FTW written. I'm like, oh, I just got the job, FTW. I'm like,
FTW, yes.
Why are you effing the world? But well done. Congrats on the new job.
Yes.
Seriously. It was like not even a whole decade ago. I was still thinking FTW meant F the world at all times.
Yeah. No, I mean, even every time I read it, I still think it means F the world before I think it means for the win. 100%.
Which is funny because I just finally got accustomed to being for the win. I finally trained myself to be like, okay, for the win. And Taz brings back the belt.
You know what happened though? Apparently, not enough people that I follow on social are winners, so I don't see FTW enough to really change my view of anything of how this works.
That's fair. It's not like I saw it like every other tweet or anything, but
like, oh yeah, I got the.
But
it's a boy, FTW.
6-7 years ago, I wish I had recorded the date when I knew exactly, like put it on the calendar. And
like I was this many years old when I found out.
Oh my God, it's the 5-year anniversary of FTW.
FTW.
Wow. What a great day. What a great day. Number 3, the Heartbreak Kid, Matt Riddle. Have you seen that supposed rumor?
Yeah.
Vince McMahon supposedly believing and seeing a young Shawn Michaels and Matt Riddle. What do you think about that?
Which is not necessarily a good thing. The article that I read that I'm assuming you read as well is the fact that, Riddle is rebellious, kind of speaks his mind, that type of stuff for Shawn Michaels. As we know from those of us who knew that the WWE had their own title first, you've been around a while. That didn't necessarily go so well for good old HBK.
Right.
Like, at some point, he left and found God. Like,
he did need to leave. He made a lot of enemies. Yeah. Bret Hart, very vocal about how much he really did hate Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Like doing business with him, but hated him as a person.
Yeah.
Riddle, I could see that. And I think character-wise, or at least talent-wise, maybe not character-wise, but talent-wise, I think Matt Riddle has no potential. Like, there's no glass ceiling above this kid. He just continues, to me, getting better and better.
That's what I was like. You're like, he has no potential. I was like, wait, what?
He's got no potential.
Yeah, I was like, oh, all right. This took a turn.
Just drop out. Just leave.
Yeah, just
You're
go.
done.
Character-wise.
You're done. Get going. That's
HBR, Heartbreak Riddle.
Yeah, but I could absolutely see it. And, Matt Riddle, knee deep in some allegations right now. He's got his own drama, which kind of sounds like a young Shawn Michaels as well. And I think if he's just willing to try to learn the system a little bit, if he's trying to become a better, little less reckless individual, then I really could see him having a longer career. I mean, to say anybody's going to have an HBK career is crazy, but I think Riddle does have a lot of potential if he can keep his head above water.
Yes, no, I agree with that for sure. I think, he kind of learns the system a little bit, not necessarily tones it down, but maybe picks the times and chooses where he
battles.
Where he accentuates his personality for sure.
And that, for a lot of people, comes in time. Doesn't always hit for everybody. Common sense, not so common. But I've already kind of seen, like, when he was in NXT to now, I definitely felt he was more reckless with some of his tweets and commenting.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, he still is opinionated and he's still honest, but he doesn't seem to be as snipey as he was. Yeah. So
this goes along with Vince McMahon seeing Angel Garza as a young Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Apparently, all Vince sees is young versions of older wrestlers in all of the new wrestlers in WWE.
As long as they're being compared to good wrestlers or ones that Vince respected, then I'm not opposed to it. But
this one reminds me of a young Duke the Dumpster Droese.
Right, yeah.
Fantastic.
This Ricochet kid, he reminds me of a young Evan Bourne.
Ooh.
Eesh. Number 4 item on my mind. Bang, boom, pop. Between this recording and the last live stream, we had a holiday.
True.
A 4th of July holiday.
A 4th of July.
An Independence Day holiday. And you know how, even if you don't buy them yourself or set them off, you know that fireworks have these over-the-top names, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, which wrestlers do you think would make for good fireworks? By name alone.
Oh, Ricochet, easy.
Ricochet's a good one. Ricochet. Like, see, you were right there on that one. My first choice, a little less in the loud, giant explosion, but rather just for the spectacle, Gold Dust.
Yes.
Like Gold Dust fireworks would be pretty.
They would. That's true.
Yeah. I also have, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's because I know the wrestler, and he go bang, DDP, just DDP fireworks.
DDP fireworks?
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like DDP would be a good, like, death, damage, propulsion. I don't know. Something,
RKO, just fireworks out of nowhere.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I wouldn't trust myself letting those off if they explode out of nowhere, but
no.
Somebody would be brave enough. The Big Show.
Really dull. The Big Show, of course.
You know what you're getting from that one. You're getting a Big Show, and if you don't, you want your money back.
Yes. There's like little like fine print, not actually a Big Show.
Right, yeah. I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
But you've got some good ones already, though.
I'm trying to think, man. The Blue Blazer.
Ooh. Does it go up and it only then explodes on the way down? Is that kind of what are you thinking? Or
no?
No? Okay. I was just curious. You brought it up. I'm just making sure we're on the same page here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was not bad. You cheating? You're looking at the that's all right. I have a whole room of cheating. I did it. The Undertaker.
There you go.
It just seems like one of those badass ones. Like, oh man, I can't wait to light off the Undertaker.
the Rey Mysterio. The who's that jumping out the sky firework?
Nah, that's a failure. I don't like that one. That one's gonna be on the clearance rack after the 4th of July.
Well, yeah, he's not even with the fireworks company anymore.
No. The last one I have is the Hurricane.
Oh yeah,
which makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. Kaboom. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You got to give us one more.
The Limitless firework. Keith Lee.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm glad you didn't say like Dude Love. That would be an odd firework.
Such an odd firework.
That would be. Oh, how did we not think of this one? Matt, perfect guess right there. Perfect idea. Bam Bam Bigelow. Perfect firework.
Sometimes the answers are just right in front of you, and
like if WWE wasn't PG, I would wonder why. Why have they not licensed fireworks?
They've licensed everything else.
I mean, then you can start going with nicknames like Latino Heat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you just have so much fun with it.
The 8th wonder of the world.
Maybe with Rey Mysterio, they would just call it the Booyaka.
Booyaka.
Yeah. Booyaka, booyaka, 6-1 kaboom. Item number 5 on my list: Disputed Era.
Disputed Era.
Disputed Era. Now that Adam Cole has dropped the NXT World Championship, a lot of people thinking, guessing, speculating, expecting the Undisputed Era to move on to the quote-unquote main roster. This is where the dispute comes in. Raw or SmackDown. Should they get called up as a group collectively, where do they go?
SmackDown.
Why SmackDown?
Because it needs something. Anything.
Fair enough.
I'm thinking like, what would make me watch SmackDown on a regular basis that doing this show doesn't? That would be Undisputed Era. Okay.
That's good. See, I was thinking Raw just because you have factions forming there.
You do. That is a good point.
And that's really about it. You're absolutely right about SmackDown needing some help, and that would be a good injection to that program.
You can get Styles, Adam Cole. You could get Daniel Bryan, Bobby Fish, Daniel Bryan, Kyle O'Reilly. Like,
I mean, you're thinking in those regards. I'm thinking Adam Cole versus a Braun Strowman, or Adam Cole versus a Bray Wyatt with the whole I'm the longest running NXT champion, and automatic assumption that he should be next in line.
Oh yeah,
knowing that we can build towards AJ and Daniel Bryan and some of these other stars for sure. It would be curious to see because him and Kevin Owens are really, really good friends. Him going to Raw makes some sense in those regards, but it's not always about friendships.
It isn't.
Yeah. The show goes on between you and I. You and I have not been friends in a long time.
No, it's been a long time.
Long time.
So out on Front Street, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it'll be interesting. Probably they won't even go anywhere. They'll probably just stay on NXT.
They'll win the North American title at some point.
Right. Yeah. And that's it. But if they do move onwards and upwards, if they do move up to the main roster, quote unquote, then it'll be interesting to see where they go, only because. And will they actually be the Undisputed Era? Will they continue to be a group? Because that should be a concern for us fans.
It should be a concern. You would think that they wouldn't be stupid enough to separate them, but you get some sanity vibes where they get drafted together and then they're immediately separated.
Yeah, we really think that Adam Cole's going to be fine on his own. So we're going to keep Fish and Riley together. We're going to keep Roddy down in NXT. Yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Roddy stays with his wife and the other two do whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just hope, again, if they're going to bring them up together and do it right. But
for sure.
Last thing on my mind, Psycho's rewatch programs. And I say psych because that guy is,
I pointed the right way this time.
Suck as a weatherman. You're rewatching Psych. I asked before the show started, not Psych, but this program.
Yeah.
If you're watching anything and you're like, really only watching pro wrestling now, and that's Psych reruns.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point, which I'm glad that you did, that there was that study that came out recently that with anxiety, with depression being so prevalent here in 2020, that if you're anxious, you may be a little skittish, a little less likely to start watching a new show, because what if it sucks? What if it's not good? So it's easy to go back into the comfort. And you even said, he goes, yep. Mm-hmm.
It is. It's exactly it. Like I will rewatch episodes a dozen times before I watch anything new, because it's comfortable. I can sit there and I don't have to think about it. I don't necessarily have to pay much attention to shows.
Right, you can play on your phone. You can sext. You can do whatever you need to do.
I could do those things. Yes.
And you do those things, don't you?
I don't.
Dirty dog. You dirty dog. Ballz fireworks right there.
Yeah.
Pew. I'm just curious how many others do that. Like this weekend or next, I'm going to start rewatching The Boys on Amazon ahead of the September release of season 2. I've recently rewatched The Umbrella Academy, but it's not necessarily for comfort in these regards, but rather I want to get caught up and get reminded.
Yeah.
And because also there's only one season of each right now. Once you start getting to season 3, season 4 of these shows, like new season of Stranger Things coming out sometime next year, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rewatch all 3 seasons of Stranger Things. You can't do that. But when there's only one season, it's much easier.
No, you could go back through though and pick your favorite episodes and rewatch them, if you can pick out your favorite episodes.
Some are easier than others, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited to rewatch The Boys, just because the show was so good, so violent, so vulgar.
Now, like, I did watch, when quarantine first started, like, I watched Umbrella Academy. I watched The Boys. I watched, I think there was another one that I hadn't watched before, because so many people were like, you got to check this out.
Tiger King.
I did not watch Tiger King, and I am so freaking happy about that. I
envy you.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't. I only agreed to do it for that stupid table talk show I do.
Yeah, nope. I did not bow to peer pressure. My entire office watched it. Nope.
I got like 3 or 4 episodes in, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't.
It's mind-numbing.
I can't. But so you were giving those a shot more because you wanted something different? You wanted something new? What was the mentality?
I think it's because I wanted something new. I was stuck at home. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll put it out there and I'll give it a shot. And not had like 5 or 6 people whose opinions I respect come back and go, I think you like this. All right. Well, that's pretty much everyone I know. So, all right, let's try this show.
Okay. I mean, and that's cool to me. That makes.
I should mention Umbrella Academy. I started because my kid was watching it. And she was the one who was like, you need to keep watching this with me. I was like, all right, let's do this.
And I'm shocked that you weren't on that yourself, but there are a couple choices here that I just don't understand, like you and your mentality.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I need.
Are you texting and sexting during the show now?
Obviously. I need everybody's help on this one. Everybody. Glow. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling on Netflix. This guy does a wrestling show with me every single damn week and will not check out Glow.
I I keep forgetting. I'll be honest. I'll forget once the show ends.
Oh, no. I'm going to keep reminding you now at this point.
Hold on. Write it down.
Write it down. I'm going to text it to you. I want people to leave messages for you. I want people to come to your house.
How many seasons are we in now for Glow?
3.
That's a lot.
Oh, no. One, they're Netflix seasons. So it's not like watching an episode or a season of Lost, which is 24 episodes, like they're 10. Yeah. So that helps. And 2, once you get going, you ain't going to want to stop anyway. Wrestling, good acting, Carlito and Chavo.
Was this all just a ploy to get me to watch Glow? Like, is this the original?
No, not entirely, because I had to type this up on the spot. If I had pre-planned it, this would have already been typed up, ready to go.
It's true.
Yeah. So I need people's help to convince Ballz to finally watch Glow. Why are you hosting a pro wrestling show and you haven't even checked out an episode? Does it help that there's nudity in the show? From women.
Thank you for narrowing that down, because there's nothing saying that you wouldn't have actually told me that.
And there's a little bit of fun in the regards of wrestler appearances. You're like, oh my God, Alex Shelley. I mean, like, okay, maybe not Alex Shelley, but who was the Miz's former protege? Was there an Alex?
Alex Riley.
Alex Riley, yes. Alex Riley makes an appearance on the show. And
had Alex Shelley been on it, you could have got me watching a long time ago.
It's odd, but okay. It's good to know. I respect Alex Shelley as an actor.
as a thespian.
Yes. I'd watch him do Shakespeare all day. All day. All day, Alex.
Motor City Machine Guns do Shakespeare.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to help me, get that guy to watch the show, that would be.
It's not like I have a history of not doing homework between shows. Like,
right.
I'm sure I'll get to it.
You would never do that. No.
No.
All right. So that's all my 6 things right there. What you got?
Oh, I got highs and lows from this week's wrestling. None punny enough to have you whip up stuff ahead of time, but
no, I don't like whipping it up anyway. I like whipping it out.
This is the drawback to us going to Facebook. There's always that threat that you're just going to whip it out, and I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, does Facebook have standards against that? I don't know. If they do, I haven't read that.
You could have just paused with, does Facebook have standards?
Hold on. Do I still have? I don't have the overlay. So yesterday on Table Talk, I had an overlay, but I forgot to make the background transparent.
Yeah.
So it was just like how there's the low blow and then the wrestling audio thing at the top and bottom.
Yeah.
What a white screen. I was gonna pull that back up and be like, "Sorry guys, having technical difficulties," and like threaten to stand up and then put that on the page.
Freaking right to censor comes out.
Woo! That's the best I had was the Viking Devon from Table Talk still.
I do love Viking Devon. I'm never going to go the right way in the camera.
Yeah.
Highlight number 6.
Highs.
I love MVP trying to get in the head of Cedric Alexander.
Yeah.
They continue to make this storyline entertaining. Everything with MVP, Bobby Lashley, Apollo Crews, and his crew. I just think it's fantastic. They were right to pick on Cedric.
Mm-hmm.
Like, picking on Ricochet, I don't think would have been smarter. Going to Cedric and being like, hey, how come Ricochet has a TV special? How come this? How come that? Get in Cedric Alexander's head. Because Cedric Alexander needs something. I don't know if it's a heel turn, but it could be.
I think that's where it's going, to be honest with you.
And I think, leads to some... If we can get a series of matches between Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, something that helps them both get over and showcase some talent, it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Kind of, I guess, similar in regards to Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy for a while there. Those two didn't have a lot going on, but they created that story to allow them to keep clashing. And I think for the most part, it worked out for both of them. I mean, neither are in the main event, but neither of those guys are in a spot to be right there anyway. So
yeah,
I think a Ricochet Cedric Alexander feud would be magnifique.
Yeah, and there's that wrestling saying that you always hit harder when you're friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would bring a lot of authenticity to it, them knowing each other and making it personal.
Right.
Highlight number 5. If you watched AEW, when this storyline idea came out, I was not cool with it. I wasn't. Although you coined the term cult cabana out of it. So that's really the best thing that's come out of the storyline so far. But this storyline brewing between Colt Cabana and the Dark Order has been way more interesting than I ever thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Man, with him in the back, and if you see it, like Colt Cabana had this large bruise, hematoma. And Mr. Brody Lee's like, all right, we're going to find out who did this to you. We're going to take care of it. And he's like, they're talking about how he was cleared to wrestle. And he's like, all right, get yourself together. We'll see you out there. And Colt says like something like, thank you, Mr. Brody Lee, when he gets up. And the announcers are like, what do you say? And then like he comes out and he's still Colt Cabana, giant jackets, having fun and stuff. And the Dark Order is very different, but they left him a spot open for him to stand with them. And then at the end of the match, Brody goes to tag in. They end up tagging Colt in to make the pin. So Colt continues to the winning streak he's been on since becoming loosely affiliated with the Dark Order. He goes to celebrate. None of them celebrate. They just kind of tap him on the back and let him dance around to his music while they all leave. And you're like, ooh, you know what? This is, huh. I wasn't going to give this a shot, but I am now. And I'm more emotionally invested in Colt than I've ever been. And the Dark Order, it's growing on me where it wasn't before.
Right. And that's sometimes when you put these long-standing characters and stars in a brand new situation. I'm not talking company. I'm talking brand new situation. Then you're going to get some unexpected results. In this case, I embrace the idea of the two sides because we hadn't seen that from Colt Cabana, and I heard about it. AC and his boo graphic and whatnot is the comment that would come up. I thought it was great, and I like how they're handling it so far. I just hope they continue to have fun with it. I don't know where it's going, but
it's a good slow burn.
Yeah, I like it.
We talk in wrestling all the time that, a lot of companies, a lot of storylines are sped up. Mm-hmm. They don't let them breathe. There is no
ADD generation here. Yeah.
There's no long-term storytelling. And it seems like with at least some storylines, AEW is trying it. And WWE does too. So it's not
right,
like
of course. Yeah.
I'm bandwagoning it. But
how dare you disrespect the E?
I know. I can only like one. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mr. Brody Lee. Highlight number 4 for this week's wrestling. We talked about him earlier. We showed his crotch. Heath Slater showing up on Monday Night Raw. There it is. Boom. Went the wrong way again. Boom. Heath Slater showing up to give a very impassioned promo for Drew McIntyre. Only part of your hand is visible, so you can't tell that you're petting Heath Slater. There you go.
I'm working on it. You worry about the highlight. I worry about
you're distracting. But no, Heath Slater's his promo was good to Drew. Give me what I've earned. Show me what you promised. This is my chance to try to get my job back. I got kids. It wasn't just a promo. I have kids to support. Like, it was a good promo. Right. And to me, it speaks a lot about Heath Slater as a guy, just as a man in general, to come back and work that date for WWE when I don't know that everyone would have. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say obviously. I'm assuming he got paid. We don't know. But I'm going to assume that, he made some money off of it, which is good.
I would assume too.
Would it be hilarious if, 10 days from now he's on Impact Wrestling? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But, I mean, good for Heath.
He's got a prophecy to fulfill, and he's going to do so.
Yep.
It's the 3MB prophecy. That, of course, Drew McIntyre, get out of here, go.
Yep.
And comes back a few years later, world champion. Jinder Mahal, get out of here, go. Completely like doubles in size, comes back, becomes world champion.
Yes,
Heath Slater already looks like he's starting to jack up a little bit there.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, he looks a little more swole than he did when he left.
Which could be a bulking phase, because a lot of the guys will then just pack on food and then start
and then shape it.
Sculpting. Or now, if he wasn't under contract, you could take whatever you want.
It's true. I'm also not on contract with anybody.
I did get a very late 90s British Bulldog vibe from him, though. With the jeans, the short hair, and everything. Just like very British Bulldog. That era.
If he bought the wrestling audio fanny pack, it would have completed the Bulldog look.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next
time. But I think Heath Slater's gone for like 2-3 years. He's coming back, and he's fulfilling the 3MB prophecy, baby.
No, yeah. I can't wait to see Heath Slater tear it up in New Japan. Just freaking jacked Heath Slater.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he's going to come back. He's going to be Brock Lesnar size.
Yes.
And I'll be like, yep, world champion. Right there.
The one-man band. Just amazing.
The Gargantuan Ninja.
God, I hope so. Main event for Fyter Fest AEW, Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy. Never should have worked. It did.
See, man, I should be like Seth Rollins. I'm like the Messiah here because I work. Guy I mentioned here, Lars. I work with Lars. I told Lars, I go, if Orange Cassidy's not a world champion by the end of 2021, AEW is doing something wrong. And he's like, well, I could see TV champion, but I don't know if he's world champion. Then he watched this match and he's like, maybe you're onto something here.
Man, just Jericho and Orange Cassidy together. Jericho continuing to put over young talent, even though Cassidy didn't win. He still looked good. And it told a great story. You know, just the whole buildup of them together culminating in this match. Great story between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. I don't know what happens next, but it's going to be awesome. Yeah. I'm hoping there's rematches and, best friends group still feuds with the Inner Circle.
Right.
But who knows? But as a match, I thought it was great.
They could follow up from there where maybe they move into a stipulated match where Orange Cassidy or somebody around him starts taunting Jericho that he was this close to winning, or Jericho does the rare heel thing of, hey, you impressed me.
Yeah.
You got some promise, kid, but I bet you can't do it a second time, or something along those lines.
And really, if there's a heel that can pull that off, it's Jericho. The one thing I'm expecting is probably some sort of cage match, because there was a lot of outside interference from Santana and Ortiz. So I could see something like that.
I will say, though, I stand by my statement that Orange Cassidy will be a world champion in that company by the end of next year at the latest. And I know that gives myself a large window of guessing there, but the reason I'm going to say that is because I love that he's been so casual, but as he's continued to grow as this character, we're starting to see the serious side, and the serious competitor can come out. And I like that the whole almost Jekyll and Hyde situation where in the ring he's a beast, but otherwise, hands down his pants. Yeah. So I like it. It just sucked that you couldn't watch both main events at the same time that easily.
No, that's true. I mean, what's funny is, like, you say it gave you a large window, but if you would have told most people that, first couple weeks of AEW,
right,
ain't no way in hell anyone would have been like, this dude, the Shin guy? No way. But now you're like, damn, all right.
He's different.
For Halloween.
He's talented. Exactly. I mean, like, we reported on this 2-3 months ago that supposedly TNT, the network, their favorite star is Orange Cassidy. And if that's the case, then odds are there's going to be a lot of other casual fans like, who the hell's this guy?
Right.
I don't get it, but I like it.
I don't get it, but I like it. Speaking of the other main event, number 2 highlight, Keith Lee bringing home both titles, becoming the North American champion and the NXT champion in an emotional win for him. His trainer passed away the week before.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keith Lee is a good dude to do this with. He is, quote, limitless.
Keith Lee. Yeah. Good guy. Been working his ass off for years. Yeah. And even just think about his last year specifically.
Yep.
And the run that he got in the Survivor Series match, getting the love from Roman Reigns, him getting that big reaction at the Royal Rumble.
Brock Lesnar, like one of my favorite moments of the Rumble is Brock Lesnar going,
who's this motherfucker? Yeah. Oh, so good.
Oh, yeah.
So that last year has been outstanding for Keith Lee, and I'm so happy to see him get this spot. We'll see if he's transitional or not, if this is just putting some belts on him, some gold on him before they move him up to the main roster, because I could see Vince McMahon salivating to get him on Raw or SmackDown.
That does bring up a point. What I was going to ask you, and I almost asked it during the talk about the Disputed Era.
Okay.
This win for Keith Lee almost feels like a page turn in NXT.
Right.
Like maybe a start of a new something.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like we talked. I feel Undisputed Era is going to go.
Right.
Keith Lee going isn't far-fetched either, truly.
Right.
Obviously, they already teased, Karrion Kross laughing or whatever during his win. So obviously, he's going after one of the belts. You assume it's the major, the NXT title.
Right.
But who knows? And I would have to agree with you that Vince is going to salivate over Keith Lee.
I'm just happy somebody's got the pounce back in WWE and does it well. The pounce! I love that move. Love that move so much. But I like that, the page turner. I like that the new chapter is starting because I think NXT's women's division can kind of carry things as the men's division transitions. Because you got Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley and just a lot of focus with Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and just Tegan Knox. The list goes on and on. Mia Yim. Mercedes Martinez getting some love again this week. I mean, I think the women's division is going to carry NXT like it did a couple of years ago, while the men's division, the heavyweight division, resets. And I think
it's funny because they really haven't lost anyone yet. It's just there's a change in focus. Like Ciampa's still there, hasn't been on TV in a couple weeks.
Right.
Gargano kind of has to move and change direction. We don't quite know where he's going yet. Balor, there's a lot of great talent there. We just don't know where it's going.
Right.
Where storylines are heading yet.
Exactly. Either way, though, I do think new momentum is coming out of this. Absolutely. So, and should they make changes, they got a women's division to rely on. That's that's so good right now.
Oh man, it didn't make my list, but it was in my notes. The Candice LeRae hitting that swinging net breaker off the table onto a bunch of chairs. I legit thought Mia Yim died. I was like, she did.
That was more hardcore than you expected from that match.
Yes, it hit that, and I was like, oh damn, she did. And then they went to commercial, and they were still laying there. Like, you deserve that. You rest.
Limited commercial interruption.
It's true. Number 1 highlight for this week in pro wrestling. It's from AEW. I don't know if you got to watch this match entirely or not, but this 8-man tag between the Young Bucks and FTR teaming with Butcher, Blade, and the Lucha Brothers. Oh my God. The match is
Canadian Destroyer to the outside into the crowd.
There's so much I didn't see. I'll tell you, the one thing that I think coming out of this, the match was great. It told very good stories.
Right.
Different team ups between members of FTR and the Young Bucks, doing each other's moves, kind of, and Butcher and the Blade, who I still am not as familiar with as some of the others.
Sure.
All looked great.
Right. Held up their end of it.
They definitely held up their end of it. The Lucha Brothers, you can tweet me, you can whatever. Rey Fenix is the best high flyer out there right now.
And if you debate him, also make sure to tell him to
watch Glow. At Ballz V2 on Twitter. Just please.
Yeah.
I will debate you on Ray Phoenix. The dude is legit.
And if you win the argument, he'll watch Glow.
I'm gonna end up watching it at some point, probably.
Yeah, I'll hold my breath on that one.
I know. What are you gonna do if I actually do watch a couple episodes and I can talk about it? You're gonna
enjoy talking about it because it's a great show.
I'm gonna not tell you and then just casually bring it up.
No. You won't be able to resist. You will not be able to resist.
I'll take a selfie of me with it in the background.
You won't be able to resist.
The lighting won't be bad. That's my number one highlight. Did you get to see the match in its entirety? Or
I started watching it. I've seen the highlights first, so I don't know if that's where it was at fault. But I watched highlights first, and then I tried watching it its entirety. I tried doing that over lunch, and that wasn't a good idea because I kept getting interrupted. So I don't think I've seen the entire match, but I've seen enough to know. Yeah, that was a hell of a match.
Oh man, hell of a match. There's a couple spots between Phoenix and Nick Jackson where JR straight up calls Nick Jackson the most athletic person in AEW. Which I was like, all right.
Screw you, Matt.
Yeah, screw you, Matt.
If your name is Matt and you're in a tag team, just stop.
You're the angry one.
Just stop. Your girlfriend's going to cheat on you with another wrestler. I'm like, just go.
Oh, man.
You're going to have to be like some psycho Beethoven-looking guy to get over. Just don't do it.
Okay, lowlights.
Yeah.
Number 6. You brought him up just a second ago. Why is Matt Hardy channeling his inner Michael Hayes to manage Private Party?
So I wondered that too, and I had seen something online saying that Private Party apparently Matt's one of their greatest idols, like one of their heroes. Okay. And they had asked, is there any way we can work with him to some extent? And Matt, when he heard this, was all for it. Goes, oh my God, I love these guys. So I don't know if that was simple as that, or if there's actual plans for this to go somewhere. But
because maybe you disagree with me, and I don't know. Matt Hardy, hype, comes in as Broken Matt, does this whole thing with Jericho, transitions, and then and I know he's been with Private Party for a couple weeks, but then it's like, boom, he's a manager to Private Party, and you're like, this character took a hard left turn.
No, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of reliance of following him on social to understand that he has the different personalities in his head now.
Yeah.
And I think if that's just the TV took a little bit more time to focus on that. So people that don't follow him on social aren't asking what the just happened.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like the broken character and whatnot, and now he's still Matt Hardy, but certainly not the drone flying guy right now.
Exactly. And now, because of all of this, the odds of me accidentally saying Private Hardy are so much higher than they ever were before.
At least it works, though.
I guess.
Yeah.
Lola number 5. I mentioned it earlier. The Ricochet 365 special. It's just okay. Wasn't that great?
So what made it just okay? Was it Ricochet's just a boring guy? I mean, what don't you like?
First of all, coming off the heels as technically their first big special after the Last Ride series, anything after that is going to be compared to the Undertaker's Last Ride. Whether it should be or not, it's going to be.
Well, let me pause you right there. Ricochet should be used to that after the big match, he's put in that filler match before the next big documentary in this case. So I mean, really, that's just pro wrestling. That's
true.
But you're right. Yeah.
The part that was just okay about it was nothing major happened. It covers his first year from right at the end of his NXT run through basically him losing to Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia.
All right.
So the most drama from it is highs and then kind of the stalling of your character and then getting pushed a little bit more, and then like getting
right.
you know, I do this, you know, he goes from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, working multiple shows in a row, getting drafted to Raw, and then kind of going off TV for a little bit,
right,
and beating Bobby Lashley, and then disappearing for a little bit, and then so like the main drama is him just getting used to not being on TV all the time, and him saying that, you know, I plan on being here a long time. Yeah, this may not be where I wanted out of my first year, but I have many years ahead of me.
Yeah, it's true. I can see that. Although I think you're a little too bloodthirsty to be like, oh, the show's only okay because he doesn't have enough drama in it. Where's the marital stuff? Where's him injuring a wrestler?
But okay, let's pre-planning on WWE. Do you think when they plan these 365 specials, you maybe give them something to do during that year to make the special worth it?
You mean like hire an actor to accuse him of cheating on his woman? Is that what you mean?
I didn't know, but
that's what I would do. I'd be like, all right, we're going to need you to go ahead and do that. We need drama for this. And you're like, give him a push.
You know, big matches on TV or something with a storyline that people remember. No? All right.
Yeah,
fine.
That makes too much sense. I like my idea better.
Yeah. Fake actor with a baby. I'll do that one.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Low at number 4, Dolph Ziggler's stipulation being a secret.
I Spy. It's no longer a secret.
Is it no longer a secret?
No, I spy with my little eye. An eye for an eye.
Oh, that's not Dolph Ziggler. That's somebody else. We'll get to that.
That's somebody else. Oh, yeah. See, I don't even care about Dolph Ziggler's stipulation. That's how excited I am for it. Oh, God. Yeah, this is going to be bad.
You're jumping lowlights like crazy.
Well, maybe this should be lower on the lowlights then.
Dolph Ziggler, the fact that, you know, it's a secret. I'm not going to tell you. You know what that translates to me? We don't know what it is yet.
Oh, that's exactly it. Or we just already announced another one. We can't announce this one. Or we haven't watched AEW yet to figure out what we want to do.
We need to figure out 6 other guys for you to have an 8-man tag with.
Any other unique matches that AEW's had lately? Because that's what WWE is going to rename for Dolph Ziggler's stipulation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Accurate. 100%. Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be some sort of, you know, like gambling themed match. And yeah.
Where did Dolph Ziggler get a horse?
It's going to be a fight on a football field. This should have been a WrestleMania match. It's going to be down at Tampa Bay. It's going to be at that football field where Buccaneers play. And he's going to ride a horse. You got it. We called it. This is it.
First one to ride a horse match.
We knew it. Yep. Ride a horse match.
Low at number 3. Nyla Rose's announcement that she's going to get a manager because it does so well for them in AEW. She points out Art Anderson and Cody.
I love how over time you've become the skeptical one towards AEW. Whenever it is like, Mo, you need to give it a shot. But like this, every week you say something about AEW's.
You're right. You know what? And people will continue to be like, hey, Mo, no one gives a crap about what I say about anything.
This is true.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she's getting a manager. I don't know who's it going to be. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about who a good manager for her would be?
I'd seen somebody on the interweb mention that it could be Medusa.
All right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I could see that as well. I do think it'll probably be a female, probably somebody that has a solid track record in women's wrestling.
And unfortunately, that list isn't real long. Like,
or at least who's available on, know, exactly. Yeah, that's willing to bite the hand that feeds the WWE hand. So
it's Victoria, because
you possibly, yeah. And though I wouldn't be upset about that either, though.
No, I wouldn't either, really.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is just a larger issue with, and we could talk, and it comes up all the time, but we could talk about how AEW treats its women's division.
Yeah.
You know, there was very little on this show. It basically Nyla beating up 2 people, and then stuff between Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm. They got her suspended.
Yeah, and that whole storyline there. There wasn't a whole lot. And you know what? I'm just not sold on Nyla Rose as a monster. I feel like there's so many women in the company you could be doing a lot more with. Yeah. So I don't know. It does seem like a manager is something that helps out a lot in AEW, unless you're Sean Spears.
Well, maybe at this point, maybe you just realize Sean Spears as a singles wrestler may not be your best bet.
No, I still think, they need to bring back that tag team thing where you're just looking for a tag team partner.
It's something. Of course, here we go. AEW just introduced the FTW belt.
Yep.
By the way, side note, FTW belt on the same show where FTR is a tag team. Anybody else worried about this confusion now?
Not me, because I'll end up talking about it more.
Jim Ross is going to get confused.
Jim Ross is already confused.
I know. Poor guy.
I know. Number 2, you mentioned the FTR belt. Number 2, the new United States Championship belt.
I'm doing all your segues today.
How hard is it to make a good-looking belt? It's apparently much harder than I thought. I know it's subjective, and I know what's good to some is not good to all, for sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But damn, it's not a good-looking belt.
It's...
And you talked about this a couple of shows ago. I don't even remember if we were doing it in video at the time you talked about it. But I remember you talking about a rumor that a couple WWE belts were being redone, and the United States title was one of them. I think it's interesting you debut it with someone who's not the champion. I like that. That's just storyline balls right there. I get it.
Did WWE hear the rumor of Taz doing the FTW belt? And they're like, this is how we're going to get ahead of this one. Yes. We're going to have a guy who's not even champion hold on to it.
Yep, we're gonna debut this belt for someone it doesn't belong to.
They heard the rumor, they went with it. To me, it's... I don't want to say they're disrespecting the traditional belts, but I think they used the traditional style for so many years and decades that now they feel they have to modernize these things. And looking at the U.S. belt, it's okay. To me, it's stylized. It's a product of the era. We'll look back. We'll be like, yeah, that was a 2020 belt right there.
I don't have hashtags or anything on it, but
it's just trying too hard, as I think is all it is. It's just trying too hard where they're overthinking it and trying to make it too flashy, where if it was the MVP USA title, the US championship, then cool. It makes sense that it would be blingy and over the top.
No, absolutely.
But if this is something they plan on continually using going forward, then it's just going to be one of those that in a couple of years it gets replaced probably with a star, much like a Cody Rhodes and the white IC title that somebody's going to just petition to bring back a classic look, and WWE will do that again temporarily.
Yep. No, I agree.
Yeah. I think we just need somebody a bit more old school to do the belts for WWE right now. And
I really would just want to be like, you know what we should do? Photoshop contest, belt designing.
That's
on our socials.
I don't think that's too bad of an idea. I know I've seen some people complain about WWE constantly changing out the belts and always doing things, but marketing, promotions. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I just don't like all the designs of it.
That's the biggest thing. I get why it's doing it. It'll sell little plastic belts. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't think people. I just didn't like this one specifically.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 1 low light. Here we go. I can't not wait to talk to you about this. What the hell is an eye for an eye match? And why was there an announcement that said to win you must pull someone else's eye out?
Great. Do not try this at home. That they're going to make sure over and over again, don't try this at home. And I cannot wait to see how bad the eyeball prop they use is. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to cut the camera at the right moment or whatever. So when the eyeball's out, there's going to be a cinematic shot with the dramatic horror music playing. And you're going to see the eyeball hanging out, and it's going to look horrible. They're not going to bring in a professional, like a special effects coordinator or professional from Hollywood. They're going to find whoever they can get at Full Sail University. A kid that's good enough. Yeah. And they're just going to try to light it so it looks real, but it's going to look hokey.
This is one of those things, looking forward, that when...
Looking in general.
Just looking at all. When someone talks about pro wrestling and they go, this is what you watch? And you're going, you know what? I'm sorry. I cannot defend this. But I got this 8-man tag that I'd really like you to look at.
There are moments where, as a wrestling fan, it's hard to defend what we enjoy.
Can you imagine them sitting in the creative meeting when someone pitches an eye for an eye match and they're like, yes, this is exactly what we've been looking for.
Tell me more.
So
how does this work? Do you have to poke your no, you pull it out?
No. Ooh.
That's disgusting. I like it.
Are we going to paint ourselves into a corner by announcing rules like that?
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes, we are.
Are we like scooping it out, or is it full removal or slightly just dislocating it?
Bulgy?
What are we thinking?
Will we play up the fact there's way more medical staff at ringside than normal?
Do we bring back the boogeyman to eat this eyeball?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
And then how long does Seth Rollins go with a patch on?
Really? I'm thinking it has to be Ray because he's not under contract anymore.
Well, Ray's already doing it. Ray's already had the thing. So, to me, that's no big deal unless he's wrestling blind, which...
No, but it's how you write him out of the story. He's not under contract for as far as, we've heard before.
If he's already not working under contract... Can't he just continue not working under contract?
I can't imagine WWE keeps the storyline going super long.
A few more appearances, why not? What's a few more weeks?
Well, that's what I'm saying. A few more weeks, sure. But
then you've already then you could still let him go. You could still Brock Lesnar. They don't acknowledge Brock. The hell, they've hardly acknowledged Roman over the last couple of months. So if Ray just goes away, no big deal, but Seth could still, be regrowing his eyeball. He can, Deadpool his eye. So maybe little by little we get updates of how bad his eye, he's got a little teeny tiny baby eye. Yeah. Seth Rollins is going to his transition into a pirate is just going to get one step closer after this.
He has the giant fuzzy jacket and now have an eye patch and one glove.
He just needs to change the jacket to a more earthy color. But yeah, I mean, his transition into Paul Burchill's coming.
We talked about a slow burn. This is Paul Burchill transition.
We're going to find out that Seth Rollins has a sister. We're going to introduce her on screen. There's going to be some weird tension there that we don't really quite understand. No. We like it, but we don't like it. I mean, it's a little
awkward. It's the part of Seth Rollins would not be played by Paul Burchill. Everyone else but us is going, who the F is Paul Burchill? And we're going, Paul Burchill.
Paul Burchill, where you been, dog? Yeah. What would you score this week in the wrestling? Out of 6 lightning bolts, 6 being the best.
This week's a 5. I enjoyed this week. It was a good week. Raw was good. NXT was good. AEW was good. SmackDown, I refuse to believe exists. It was a good week. It was a good week.
Yeah, SmackDown is... There's a reason why we don't really talk about SmackDown too much on this show. People asked me little by little over the few weeks, hey, you guys talk AEW, NXT, Raw? And I'm like, yeah, because it's fresh on our minds. Yeah. But really, it's just because SmackDown's not good.
Really,
for the most part.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much both those things. The fact that it happens right after we record, which technically puts it into that next week, but it's completely out of your mind after the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if there's something big that happens, if this week they reintroduce the juniors division, I'm talking about that next week.
Yeah.
If Super Porky and Octagon Cito make their return this week on SmackDown, the next week, that's your number one highlight.
That's 4 out of your 6 things.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the whole list because they come up short.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how you do it right there. at Wrestling Audio on the socials. Give us the love if you're enjoying these streams for whatever reason. I don't get it, but I thank you anyway. Give us a review. That helps us with the big machines.
The algorithms.
Exactly. Helps us out. So if you would be so kind to do that, we do have a store through Teespring, so you can get Ballz' stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
you can get the Wrestling Audio fanny pack that Heath Slater missed out on.
And there are more items coming, by the way. A glitch where I'm a user, I can upload, but I can't upload. Once that gets figured out, I'm going to be adding stuff to this site all the damn time. Hawk Hogan's finally going to have a shirt.
Thank God.
Right, the Greg mispronunciation. So anything you could do to support the cause, we appreciate it. Ballz, watch Glow.
No.
Come on.
Yeah, maybe.